Hello, and welcome back. This is Speaking with Judgment, hosted by Jonathan Mathis, the sports judge. Thanks for watching and supporting the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If this is your first time viewing the channel or seeing me on TikTok, welcome, like, follow, and subscribe. Golden State. With an injured Steph Curry watching from the sidelines, the Warriors are now one loss away from their season coming to a close after a 117-110 loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinals on Monday night. Golden State is now in a 3-1 series deficit after having lost 3 straight playoff games for a second time under Steve Kerr. It's the first time that has happened since his team blew a 3-1 series lead in the 2016 NBA Finals. I'll say it. I've said it. I'm still going to say it. The Warriors are in serious trouble. I felt like if Golden State wanted to win this series, they needed to secure Game 4, and they didn't. Minnesota seems to be in charge, in full control of the series, with Steph in the situation that he's in, ready to close it out at home tonight. A lot of people are saying now that they have Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, and Buddy and Draymond, that they still have a chance. Do I really care what that supporting cast looks like? No. One way or the other, I don't care. I look at that roster and go, that's all you have? You don't scare anybody. See, this plays right into my thing with the Golden State Warriors. No Steph, no shot. We've seen the last of the Warriors in Steph's absence. Hard to believe the Warriors get back in this series with Steph Curry. This is why at the stage of his life and his career, you can't just rely on him to be everything for your team. This Warriors team is too dependent on Curry, and it shows in his absence. The reliance on Curry is more and more telling now without him being sidelined. You had the 7th seed, but you had Jimmy Butler, along the way to make a strong push to the playoffs. So coming into the playoffs, everything's cooking in the right direction, and now you lose Steph to a hamstring injury, which changes the trajectory of the series and potentially your season. I mean, to be fair to them, they didn't Game 2 on the road where they didn't, have Steph. Without Steph Curry, that put them in a tough spot. That put them in the spot where Golden State now finds itself. They managed to win Game 1 even without him for most of the contest, and they, got it done without him. It's the next man up kind of deal. Curry sustained a grade 1 left hamstring strain early in Game 1. Not a pretty sight. And we're watching Game 2, and it's just ugly. And what did they do without him? They were blown out in Game 2 and coughed up a fourth quarter lead in Game 3 at the Chase Center. The injury to Curry really put them in a bad spot. You saw this postseason when Curry was playing, the Warriors looked unstoppable, because when you have the purest shooter and a guy who can close a quarter and will his team to victory with his ability to knock down the 3, then you have a chance on any given night. Now, you're without him, and we're really seeing now how much you miss him. So to think that all of a sudden this miracle thing is going to happen and Jimmy Butler is going to save their season and Buddy Hield is going to have another one of those nights where he makes 9 threes, and this Steph Curry-less Warriors team is going to steamroll the Wolves, I ain't buying it. They don't have enough without Steph. no one to close the game, no one for an instant spark. And sure, they can play a good half, but can't do anything down the stretch when it truly matters. I guess we know whose team this is. This is why I believe this series is done. The only chance you have is to hope that Buddy and Jimmy go on this offensive tear and that Draymond holds it down on defense, gets big stops and force turnovers, allowing them to get out and get some easy buckets. Their chances without Steph are slim. Having an opportunity to really watch them without Steph, one game in, he gets hurt. Then all of a sudden, in the second game, Steph unable to start and the Warriors get blown out. There's a strong feeling that if he doesn't come back, that Minnesota should have no problems moving on to the next round. That's just the reality of it. And part of that is not having Steph. The other part being that Jimmy wasn't playoff Jimmy in Game 4. Steph does so much for this team, and I think when you look at the way that they played, it was almost as if they felt like they got the one they needed on the road to get the one that they needed to get on the road, and they got that one, and it's like, well, okay, we're going to go home, and hopefully we get Curry back. Reports are that Curry takes a positive step towards returning if the Warriors can force Game 6. I'm of the belief that the Wolves close this series out tonight. It wouldn't be hard to dismiss this team, especially with Jimmy Butler's Game 4 performance. He only had 14 points and was a game worse, minus 30. They brought over Jimmy Butler to pair him up with Steph, and as they went on that late run in the regular season, Butler's presence for sure was felt. So I tend to think they got Jimmy to squeeze every last bit of juice out of Steph. But what good is he if he can't step up? The hope was that Steph Curry's void could be filled by Jimmy Butler. I mean, as evidenced in Game 2, you're getting increased production from Jonathan Kuminga. His skill set is highly valuable on a team critically lacking bold and athletic shot takers. You now basically need him to take on a larger role to be more aggressive. Kuminga and Jimmy Butler combined to score 63 points, which amounted to 65% of the Warriors' overall points. There was nothing Kuminga could do to help deliver a win in Game 4, scoring a team-high 23 points on 6 of 13 shooting. I'm telling you, the only way they have even the slightest chance is if they get Curry back. And even if he does come back, let's say they force a Game 6, I still think this series is over. And I mean, just because Curry is the purest shooter doesn't mean he's got the ability to go out there and look like Steph. And if you reevaluate somebody on game day and they've been out for more than a week, they're not going to play that night. Chances are we won't see Steph Curry again in this series. You're not going to risk his hamstring. If he plays through that injury, let's say he's 50-50 and he re-injures himself, and now he's out for 3 to 6 months. Now you have to have surgery. Now we're really talking retirement. If you send him out there, you're not getting the Steph Curry we usually see night in and night out. I just really don't see it for the Warriors. This is your franchise player sitting out, and I know it's a collective effort, but there's nobody outside of Jimmy Butler, and he isn't doing it. He wasn't great outside of that one game against the Houston Rockets, he's had a hard time. Not much the Warriors can do when they have no shot creation, no true three-point shooter to fill in until Curry gets back. When you talk about Curry, this is the engine that makes them go. He swings a series single-handedly. But, there is always another sucker who wants to believe that miracles will happen and they will get more out of the other guys. I mean, other people can play better. Sure, maybe someone gets hot. Again, I just don't see it. They're not so much of a threat, I feel like, unless Steph is on the floor making an impact with his three-point shooting brilliance. They just don't have enough to hold off the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think this series is over tonight. All right. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you guys for spending time with me, the sports judge. I'm here at the local park, actually my neighborhood park. This is inside my neighborhood. So I just came over here for a little quiet time, and I thought I'd have a conversation with all you viewers out there and talk a little bit about tonight's Golden State Warriors and Minnesota Timberwolves game and why I feel this series is over and why I feel the Warriors are not going to do much of anything without Steph, because Steph is the heart and soul of that team, and without him, I feel like all hope is lost for this Warriors team. You're asking too much of other players to step their games up, and even if they step their games up, as we've seen so far in the series, it hasn't been good enough. So I just think the series comes to an end tonight. But guys, I'm getting out of here now. Don't forget to do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button for your guy. Man, I really appreciate the love and support. I'm checking out of here now. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the games. I'm about to walk back home now and enjoy the rest of the games tonight. Talk to you guys again soon. Take care.